Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you a cool puzzle where it's white to play and win. Right now, black has this pawn on g3, trying to promote and win this game. There's only one way for white to win this game. There are many ways to draw the game. Give it your best shot, see if you can find the right way to win. While you're thinking about that, let me ask you to subscribe if you have not yet already. Half of the income I earn in this channel goes directly to charity, so every like, every subscriber, it helps us out so much. Alright, let's get to it here. So this pawn is running down the board, and you better do something fast. You have a rook, and you have a king. That's it. What would you do here? Let's think through a couple situations. One thought might be, play rook a3, pin the pawn. It's not going to work. Why? Because the king can simply walk away from this pin and push. And it just doesn't really work out. So if you play here or here, it doesn't matter. Trying to check, they just block you, and this king is simply too slow. Right? You need to do something to stop this pawn, and instead you're not really going to. Let's say you do this, they play king h1. There's nothing to do here. It is a funny thing to show though. If you do this and they play a knight, they would lose. But of course, that's never going to happen. Instead, they'd play a queen, and black would be the one winning. So you can't really get away with just blocking this pawn and trying to go for this pin. Doesn't work. Okay, what about rook a2? Maybe the idea is to block the king. Well, then they just push the pawn, right? And it kind of is the same situation. They can't take this. Well, they can't. We can, but it'll be a draw. So what do? Bring the king in? Well, you can't do that, right? Because the next square is already there and unprotected. So you have to pretty much waste a move and go rook a1, but that just lets them play king h2, and hopefully you see the idea. Okay. So what do? What about rook a1 directly? Like, instead of trying to get in the middle, just go to where they're going to end up and try to attack this line. Good idea, but either way, king h2 or g2, both of those will draw for black, and there's not much to do. You can come in, they come in, it's just too slow, right? You can try to move up here, but you just queen, and it's just going to be a draw. You just exchange the queen for the rook. Great. So let's talk about what the right answer is. So what other way could you do it? You can't go from this direction. Well, what about from this direction? So maybe you think to drop back and to try to go from the h and g8 squares. Good idea, but it's just simply too slow. g2, you get behind the pawn. King h2, you move in. They promote. You don't want to do that. So what are you really going to do? You're going to check them? Sure. They're okay with repeating, by the way. So king g3, threatening to promote. What do? Check? Right? Nothing to do. Okay. So how do you win? I'm going to show the answer now. So now's your last chance. The first move. Rook g4. Great move. Okay, now what's the idea here? You're behind the pawn, first of all. That's where rooks are usually good in endgames. They're behind passed pawns. That's a good thing. So how is this winning? Can't they just run the pawn up in the same way? Like, what's the difference? Well, g2. What do? Well, this rook is already doing a great job. So now you need to get your king involved. Let's move this king in. King f4. Okay. Now they can't push, right? Clearly, you just take it. They need to move their king in. Great. Now, you got to be careful. They're threatening to promote here. So you check them. Wonderful. King g1. Right here is a critical moment. One move wins, one move draws. So I really should say only one move wins. All the other moves draw. Okay. What do you think? King g3 is the way to do it. Highlight that. So why is this so special? Well, if the king only has one move. The king has to go here, and that allows a check on f4. If it was the other way around, if the king played to f3, this would be a draw. Why? Because the king can get out, and there's no way to hit this square with check. Instead, you have to move away, and it doesn't work. Right? You go here, they promote to a knight. This is a drawn endgame because this is not quick enough. You just do this kind of thing. Okay. Hopefully you're familiar with that endgame. If not, watch that part again. Pretty fun. Okay, so the idea is you have to play king g3. That's the right move. Okay, so they play rook f1. You check them. Now what? Well, can't they just go back? Like, what's the deal? If they do, like, how do you win this? Now, you might be tempted to make a move that draws. Let me show you. You might be tempted to play rook f2 and say, okay, I'm just going to take this pawn. Well, be careful. They play king h1. You take this. This is a draw. Stalemate. So how do you win that pawn? So many little nested puzzles inside puzzles. I love it. So the way to do it is to make a waiting move. So instead of going here directly, you just go, I'll wait. I'll go back anywhere. Any of those squares would have worked. And now they make a move to go to the corner. And you pretty much do it from the opposite direction, like this. So now you play rook h2, take this, and they can run all they want here, as far as they want, and there's no stalemate now. Hopefully you see what I'm saying. Here, it is stalemate. Anywhere else, it's not. And now this is just a regular mate. We're not going to show that. So that's pretty much the idea. Let me go all the way back. You get behind the rook. Now, if they push, I showed it. What if they do something else? King h2, same idea. King f4, g2, check them, get here, and make sure you put your king on g3 because you need that square to check on f4. And this is the same variation. Check, and then if they go back, obviously, if they go this way, you take the pawn, just to point it out. If they go back, just make a waiting move. Just simple waiting move. Just wait, and then this little maneuver, I love it. So hopefully it wasn't too bad. That's the way to finish it. And hopefully you found it. But this is a really, really useful thing to know, right? In endgames, I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes going to this first rank, trying to attack the squares, sometimes that's tempting. But in situations like this, it's not right. If this move is there, you might as well go for it. That's it for this video. Hopefully you're able to figure it out. I have the position in the description if you want to play around. Maybe play a computer, see if you can do it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.